What if I told you the decision has already been made? That everything was planned in secret, in a closed auditorium, behind locked doors? That on a clipboard, inside a suite, there's a lineup with a name discreetly erased and arrows redrawn as if nothing had happened? What if I told you that the fans' most beloved player could be the price to pay in a calculated move by the front office, designed to extract another year of excellence, even if lacking the glory of previous years? Don't blink, because if the next 48 hours unfold as rumors suggest, the Bay Area could wake up to an action that will be cold, ruthless, and, depending on how you view basketball, could be the masterstroke that returns this team to playoff relevance. Before mentioning any names, feel the knot in your stomach. You know what I'm talking about. When a player becomes a symbol of everything we love about Warriors basketball. An effort that echoes in the cuts, passes, and perfect timing. The pace of the game, the hands precise enough to catch any shot, and suddenly the roster's math starts to raise difficult questions. Not because he failed, but because the schedule, rotation, and intensity don't care about history or legacy. My promise is clear. In the next few minutes, I'll detail practice patterns, rotation tips, game strategies, physical limits, veteran minutes, and possible trade moves. So you can judge for yourself. You'll see the practice logic, the coaching staff's logic, the financial logic, and, yes, the emotional logic. No guesswork, just real scenarios with real consequences, real basketball. Welcome back to the Warriors News Fan Report. If you breathe this team like I do, like, subscribe, and hit the bell. Stay until the end, because I'll show you the 3 lineups that could make this move look like genius or a strategic mistake. I'll also reveal 2 calls I'd make if I were in charge today. Warning, not for the faint of heart. Let's start with the core of the decision, the rotation map. 12 players can't play 15 meaningful minutes a night. You can adjust, rotate, or sell matchups, but on Thanksgiving, the truth always comes out. The coaching staff wants a clear hierarchy on the court. The front office seeks flexibility for a veteran capable of handling 4 coverages in a playoff game. These desires aren't contradictory, but they clash when you have a young big man who needs real minutes to develop and a veteran who must be protected. Then there's the financial constraint. Even with the willingness to pay, there are real restrictions. You can't just add another player without paying the opportunity cost in minutes and contracts. A guaranteed move on the bench can determine whether a veteran ring hunter arrives in January or not. The choice is stark. Keep the young man's development path intact or make room for a seasoned veteran who won't flinch under pressure. It's not about good players versus bad players. It's a strategic overlap. Adding a floor spacer capable of finishing within 15 feet before the defense reacts, pairing it with a veteran expert in angles and positioning, and having a coach who relies more on reads than brute force. It all converges on a strategic point. The practices reflect this. Consistent cuts, delay sets, coordinated movements, and planned actions. The team begins to value not only physical explosiveness, but also intelligence and quick decision-making. The talented youngster is still loved, but he's now seen as situational, not essential. The team's urgency is palpable. Every move seeks to transform pressure into simple math in decisive moments. If the right 5 players are together, the defense suffers. If not, the offense crumbles. And we can't forget Kuminga. His development is vital. He needs freedom and space to grow. The right 5 unlock his evolution. The wrong 5 compromise everything. The logic on the court is clear. Whoever shares the floor with him must open space and create opportunities, not congest it. And then there's Pod Sky, the piece that connects the team, turns rebounds into attacks, and reads the game with precision. The more options the 5 have, the brighter the team star shines. The time has come. The player at the center of the storm, the one being discussed repeatedly, is Trayce Jackson-Davis. I'm not saying he's ready. I'm saying the conversation is real. The internal dilemma is clear. Trayce is extraordinary in a context where the priority now is the young big man in the starting rotation. When the minutes are counted, he becomes hyper-specialized and managers begin to ask, will we have more playoff utility with a seasoned veteran or with Trayce, who protects the paint in limited minutes? If the answer leans toward the veteran, there's a risk of giving up a promising young player. If your heart skipped a beat reading this, Know that the Warriors' paradox is precisely this. Trace does everything fans love. He runs the court, jumps high, contests, protects, finishes through contact, keeps the ball simple, and has a motor everyone admires. Midway through the season, on Tuesday, he's sipping an espresso. In a carefully planned playoff rotation, coaches sometimes rely on a veteran who can handle drops, quick transitions, unexpected switches, and tight spacing all in one, even if the scoreboard seems calm. But we can't ignore the alternatives. Option 1. Trade. If you want to make the most of Curry's window, pay attention to when another team offers a center who can defend two schemes and maintain a 36% shooting percentage. This could include a draft pick plus a plug-and-play player on the front court. Trace isn't being traded for lack of talent, but rather to solidify pieces that will translate into an advantage down the road in June. Option 2. Keep and recalibrate. In this scenario, Trace's minutes will fluctuate depending on the matchup. He can impact second units, exploit teams that can't contain him near the basket, and absorb most of the regular season to preserve the legs of veterans. This decision says, we value energy, spacing, and potential for impact in the final moments of the game, while he continues to grow. Option 3. A nod to a veteran. Which makes my stomach churn. Create space for a 38-year-old playoff specialist while retaining a spacer who replicates some of Trace's benefits. Combined with Draymond and flexible wings, this can neutralize aerial threats and ensure strategic control. It's cold and calculated, but many teams act this way as playoff time approaches. If you're new here, this is where we take a clear look. Trading Trace would be a public relations earthquake. He's beloved by fans, represents humility, effort, and a knack for the ball. If the team goes this route, the burden of proof shifts entirely to results. Every possession, every quarter, every clean shot will count. Ultimately, it's about maximizing draft picks and potential. If you pull the trade lever, you need to ensure the veteran is healthy, the system benefits from the change, and the impact is measurable. On the other hand, keeping Trace means using his strengths strategically, pairing him with quick lineups, wings that stretch the defense, and point guards who capitalize on timely lobs. His contract is favorable, he's on an upward curve, and he continues to win important possessions. We also need to be honest about the trade scenario. If the veteran delivers significant upside in closing games and the coaching staff is aligned with a system that values skill over verticality, then the nuclear option could be considered. It won't be personal, just cold calculation. What generates more value in May? Trace is also essential for specific matchups. Against elite units, his angles create free throw and lob opportunities. Against second units, he turns any mistake into an extra chance. He changes the dynamic of a game with decisive chasedowns and rebounds. Small details that, combined, define games. The locker room also matters. Draymond supports any center who defends and sets real screens. Steph values those who provide space and positioning correctly. Culture demands effort. Trading a young worker for a veteran's absolute certainty could cost not only a player, but the team's very identity. In my opinion, I wouldn't trade Trace Jackson-Davis right now. He should be kept unless real value emerges. A frontcourt piece who brings shooting, defense, and draft flexibility. Otherwise, use Trace as a strategic tool, not a hammer. The final decision will be made in the most crucial moments. A tied quarter, Steph driving the ball, the defense pressing, and all five players creating space or finishing. If the right choice is on the court, all the pain and patience will have been worth it. Dub Nation, we're here to demand smart, audacious basketball. And whether Trace Jackson-Davis is part of that journey or becomes the price to pay, let's face the truth together. Turn on notifications. The next whisper could become a roar.